What is going on? This is Clyde, and I'm coming to you live from my dry cleaners. And this is Clyde's Got Pressing Issues, where I go over my love of comic books and all things comic book and nerdy related stuff. I have a few books here that I'm going to be sending out to get pressed and cleaned and then submitted to CGC. And I wanted to go over them with you, just trying to practice on grading and seeing how you do, and you can make the call. We're going to take it like the old school IBM stuff on Monday Night Football, where you make the call and try to figure out what your grades of these books are going to be. This is going to be a long process because it's going to take a few months to get the books back from cleaning and pressing. But once the books are back, we can kind of compare and see how we did against our pre-guesses and see if CGC agrees. So let's get started. I'm going to go over the books quickly with everything, and then we're going to scrutinize each book and try to assess the value or the grades that we're going to see on each book. So let me start. First, we have Avengers number 9. This is the first appearance of Wonder Man. It is also the death of Wonder Man, but don't worry, he does come back. They do reincarnate him, or resurrect him, whatever you want to call it. But he also is the in the comic book world, he is the persona of Vision. Is put into his mind is put into Vision's body, so he becomes Vision. So he's also been teased in the WandaVision series, so he may become part of the MCU at some point. Moving on to Avengers 10. And Avengers 10, this is the first appearance of Immortus, who is is really not a new character. He is actually also Kang and Ramatut. So it's Avengers seem to keep reintroducing the same person over and over again, giving them new identities, new names, but it's the same person. Kang was introduced in Avengers number 8, and 2 issues later, he's now Immortus, and then later he becomes Ramatut. So he keeps popping up, but it's kind of a key issue there. Next, we have Avengers 11. This is the first appearance of Spider-Man in the Avengers universe. But it's not really Spider-Man. This is a spider bot that's been created by Immortus or Kang or whatever you want to call him. So this is, again, it's kind of a fake out, but it's, according to Key Collector app, this is the first appearance of Spider-Man in the Avengers universe, even though it's not really him. All right, moving on, we have Fantastic Four number 48, which is the first appearance of Galactus and Silver Surfer. Really big book. Galactus possibly coming to the MCU. This is the actual Galactus, not the cloud thing that was in the Fantastic Four movies, which no one could quite understand what was going on there. I don't know why you'd have such a cool character you want to turn him into some mist. But moving on here, this is the actual. Before that was a cameo. This is Fantastic Four 49. It's the first full appearance of Galactus. So again, these two are pretty important books here. And then moving on, we have Fantastic Four number 53, which is the first appearance of Kang. It's also the first appearance of T'Challa and T'Chaka, who's T'Challa's father, and the origin of Black Panther, and the first reference of vibranium, which is the Wakandan metal, which is so big in the MCU. So, and then also we have here is the team up between Iron Man and Submariner. It's they kind of combine Tales to Astonish and Tales of Suspense together in one issue. So it's kind of a big team up. All right, and up next we have Captain America 100, which is Cap's first solo title, which is a kind of a carryover from Tales of Suspense, which was the first 99 issues. Then after issue 100 became Captain America. So this is the first solo title Captain America book. Following up next, we have Incredible Hulk number 102, which is Tales to Astonish up until this book. Incredible Hulk had a title for about 6 issues, then it was canceled, and then they started Tales to Astonish, and it became Incredible Hulk again by 102. So this is his second title, but it's I don't know. I think they still consider this volume 1. And then lastly, but not leastly, it's a modern book. It's Incredible Hulk number 340. This is the second battle between Hulk and Wolverine. Classic cover art by Todd McFarlane. This is my buddy's. He won this in an auction, and you know, wanted to get it graded. It is a newsstand copy. It has some problems, but hopefully we can get a decent grade at it and see what it comes back at. All right, now we're on to our the Avengers number 9. This is first appearance of Wonder Man. As you can tell, this is far from a perfect book. I'd probably put it in the good range. Again, with the older books, I'm having a harder time trying to get an idea of where it falls on this grade scale. If you see, there's a tape pull up here in the top, which taken off the top of the E, and then you know, there's a couple little creases around the edge here. And overall, the whole book has a lot of tanning issues. With tanning is where it's just been exposed to either some sort of sunlight or just dust accumulation. Just an older book. This book's 50 years old just about, so it's got some defects here. And then you see the bottom corner is a little bit torn, and what you're seeing, that white underneath, is some preservation paper that a buddy of mine put underneath to kind of keep it, you know, keep the page quality up higher. There's also some dirt along the edge here that you can see, hopefully some soiling that can be cleaned up, and it can present a little bit better. You know, when it's all said and done, this book's only, you know, the ceiling's only so high for it, but it's still a nice book to have. And overall, you know, it's not, there's a lot of soiling. Bottom edge you can see here. I don't know what's going to get cleaned up here, how it's going to come out, but you know, I have high hopes. See, it's all, the staples all attached. Doesn't appear to be too much rusting on the staples. Again, you see the tanning along the inside. Page colors, I'm guessing probably your cream, but it's not really brittle. It's a overall good shape. Going over to the centerfold, make sure that's attached. I did do a page count, and that seems like everything's there. It's got that old comic book smell, which is not bad. It's just kind of a unique smell to it. Staples look good on the inside. It seems to be attached really well. Not going to play with it though. All right, so on to that. So my guess on this book, again, I have very low experience with books this age, so I'm curious as to how it's going to come back. I'm going to say 2.5. If it comes out better, I'll be happy. If it comes out worse, I won't be surprised. But again, this is a learning exercise for me. So we're moving on to the next book. All right, now we're moving on to Avengers number 10. This is what they're saying is the first appearance of Immortus, which is kind of silly because this is the truly different villainy of the evil Immortus, which is ridiculous because he's also Kang, which was introduced 2 issues earlier in Avengers 8. Also becomes Rama Tut, another character. So it seems that Avengers has a hard time making different villains. They just rebrand themselves. So this one's, I think, in overall slightly better shape than the previous one, the Avengers 9. But you see there's some soiling along the top and the edges and a little bit of tanning. But overall, I think this is, I like this book better. It seems to be a little bit better shape. I'm not sure if that's some soil or rust around the staples. I think it might just be soil. Going along the edge, looks good. There's some soiling again there. The corner's a little rough, but again, these books are from 1963. 1964, so they are 57 years old at this point. So this is a nearly 60-year-old book. So I'm going to go over to the back. Back is, again, it's got some tanning going on there, but not nearly as bad as the other issue. But it looks good. The edges are good. I think this will clean up nicely. It'll present pretty well. Inside pages again are some tanning along the top edge, but again, this is probably a cream, off-white to cream color, and colors still look pretty good. Move on to the centerfold, make sure that's still pretty well attached. Yeah, the centerfold looks pretty good. And making sure there's no pages cut out or just any type of defects that will cause this to come back as a incomplete. That's one thing that I've learned. There's some books had coupons or pin-up pages that people cut out and put on a wall. You know, you're supposed to enjoy the books, and that's what they did. But as a collector later on, that makes these books come back as a 0.5 incomplete. So it severely hurts the grade. So it's something you need to look out for. Certain books are more likely to have them than others. I know that Incredible Hulk 181, the first appearance of Wolverine, has a Marvel value stamp in it, which people cut out a lot oftentimes. And if that value stamp is missing, the grade is going to plummet and the value is going to plummet also. So you're going to either get a incomplete label, like a qualified grade, or you're going to get an incomplete book. So either way, you want to make sure before you send a book in that all the pages that are there and there's no pages cut out or torn out. I forgot to mention, I would probably put this grade maybe around a 4.5. Again, I'm still very novice on older books, so this is guessing based on the standing, and hopefully it looks, it gets cleaned up and comes out a little bit better. So we'll see how this goes. All right, moved on to Avengers 11. This is the co-starring Spider-Man. This is the first appearance of Spider-Man in Avengers comics, even though this is not really Spider-Man. It's a spider bot made by Kang. But again, it's a pretty cool appearance. This one has some soiling on the cover that hopefully gets cleaned up and shows a little bit better. I don't have some food or whatever spilled on it. I'm going to trust that to a professional cleaner and see how that comes out. But you know, if you can take care of that, then I think it shows pretty well. There's some tanning along the top, and it's a lot of creases along the spine. This could be a little bit better. This one's probably lower than the it's definitely lower than the Avengers 10, probably on par with the Avengers 9, but it depends on how well this cleans up. You see that because it does not have the large tears or the tape pull that the Avengers 9 did. Back page has, again, a lot of tanning along the edge there. You can see where a book was laying across it, so some part got exposed. It's either dust shadow or a sun shadow, they call it, where just over time being exposed to the elements will cause a book to pages to change color. Inside again has a good amount of tanning. And this is probably again in that cream to off-white to cream color. And these are my best guesses. I'm not really exactly sure what I've been fortunate that pretty much everything I've graded so far has come back with white pages. So, but it's all been modern books. See, the oldest book I had graded was Amazing Spider-Man 238, which I believe came out in the early 80s, and this one's 20 years older than that. Okay, so again, the centerfold's nice. Looks like the staples are pretty well attached. Make sure all the pages are there. We have Kang. So overall, I think I'm gonna put this book around a 2.5. You know, if it cleans up, you know, the food or whatever that is gets cleaned up off of it. You know, may get a little bit of a bump, but again, I'm just trying to figure this out. So, all right, move on to the next book. All right, and now we have the big boy of the batch. This is Fantastic Four number 48. This is the first appearance of Galactus and the Watcher. I'm sorry, maybe not the Watcher, but Silver Surfer. It's got a very key book. Some lovely shoes by the Watcher there. And it's a cameo of Galactus. Yeah, this is it's a major key. And it's in pretty good shape. There is some looks like the top edge got folded over, so it's actually not torn, but it's folded. Well, it's slightly torn, but that piece is still there, and it's folded over. I'm going to leave that alone. I'll let the presser see if they can fix that. It's not worth me messing with it. If he can fix it and press it out and get it a little bit better, I would appreciate it. Again, I'm very happy with the condition of this book. This is good shape. It's got some spine roll. You can see where it's, you know, it's not, the edges aren't on point, but I think that can be fixed with a good pressing. Let me go over to backside. It's got some tanning again, but you can see the staples are in pretty good shape. And you know, it's back cover looks really good, except for this one. Again, some tanning along the top edge. Page quality is pretty good. There's a ever-present tanning along the top edge, and then again, it's probably cream to off-white color, but again, based on the age of this book, this was 1965, so this again is a 55-year-old book right now. 55, 56 years old. So I hope I look this good when I'm 55, 56. Let's see. Yeah, colors pretty sharp. Move on to the centerfold. And centerfold looks okay. A little spotting on the edge there, but all staples attached, and looks like it's in good shape. Again, the spine's off. I don't know exactly how that to be fixed, but I'll leave that to professionals. There's your Silver Surfer. This is a weird, like, photorealistic page or actual photo. I don't know exactly how they went about this, but this is, or how often they did. And then Galactus, his colors are just way off. Mostly he's known for wearing purple and blue, and he's in like a red and green suit. So, I don't know what to think about that. There we go. 3 pages of letters. All right. Now moving on to issue 49 of Fantastic Four. This is again the first full appearance of a Galactus. Front cover, it's got some good shine to it. I forgot to give a grade for the previous book, so I'll make sure I put it on that one. I think that one's probably about a 6. And this one is, I would say, first appearances are around that too. I think that the spine roll, hopefully that can get fixed. If so, that, you know, it'll come out pretty well. So there's no major defects on the outside of the tanning. It's looks pretty good to me. It's kind of hard because I don't know exactly the color of this, what's supposed to be. The book looks really, really good. Back cover's got some tanning again against the edges, around the edges. You can see where it's shades darker. The interior pages again are probably in that off-white to cream color range. And then this is, now Galactus is back to, I guess, purplish. So it's a little bit different than the color it was one issue ago. It's like they hadn't quite decided what to do with him. And the centerfold and the staples seem to be pretty well intact. And here's the first appearance of the Punisher. Not quite the Punisher you know and love, but this is one of, I guess, Galactus's, I don't know, not his herald, but somebody that works for Galactus. And you know, it's a little gorilla looking thing. Not sure what to think of him. I don't know if he comes back up later, but he is the Punisher. Again, everything looks pretty good. Overall, pretty happy with. And then I'm going to put this one again around 6.5. All right, moving on to Fantastic Four 53, another pretty significant book. This is the first appearance of Claw, which you may remember from the Black Panther movie, and I believe he's also one of the earlier Avengers. I'm not sure which one, but and then, again, he has a pretty prominent role in the moving the story along to get back to Wakanda. This also is the first appearance of T'Chaka, who is T'Challa, the Black Panther's father, who was killed off in Avengers Civil War, and also the first mention of vibranium, which is a becomes a prominent factor in both Marvel Universe and MCU. Again, this is pretty clean. I'm very happy with this. Again, it's from a book from 1965. There's some spine ticks along the edge and a little bit of a crease and blunted edges, but again, for a 55-year-old book, this is pretty beautiful. There's a little bit of a some chipping up there on the top. Going over to the back side. Again, this is probably the whitest back page that I've seen of these books. Again, some soiling, which may get cleaned up a little bit better than as we go, but looks pretty good. And anybody who's been persuaded into trying to draw, you know, you've seen this ad a lot. Alright, moving on to the inside. The tanning on this inside is not nearly as bad as it's been on the other books. Page color, again, this is probably, I would say, off-white maybe. Again, this one looks really good. Looks like it's probably kept up a little bit better than the other books. And the centerfold looks good. Staples are intact. Looks pretty well solid. An ad for grit, so all the older people may remember this, where you can sell stuff and you get a nickel off of each thing you sold, and then you saved it up and you can get, you know, sporting equipment and silly stuff like that. So, and you can make $1 to $5 weekly. Think of the savings. Again, the back page looks really nice on this one, in a good shape. All right, so overall, I would probably put this book in the seven and a half, maybe. We'll see how it comes out. So we'll see how it gets pressed out and cleaned up, and hopefully wish for the best here. Up next, we have Iron Man and the Submariner. This is a standalone issue that combines the Submariner and Iron Man, which is kind of a combination of Tales of Suspense and Tales to Astonish. They like their tales back then. So this is a good shape overall. Again, this book came out in 1963, so it's not, the expectation for me personally, it's not super high. But you see there's some creasing here in the bottom corner. Going along the edge, there's a little bit of tearing, chipping on that edge, and some soil on the top. And I guess there's something here that may be able to come off, but we'll see how that gets cleaned up. Top edges look okay. Staples are decent shape. Can't complain about that. Moving on to the back side. Back's got some tanning issues, but not really that bad. Book's nice and flat. Overall, pretty good. Again, we have Norman Rockwell style artistry. They really try to get you to take some drawing classes. So this book I would put in the 6.0, 6.5 range. So let me show you the insides. Again, it's probably an off-white color. There's some tanning on the front page, but the page color quality is pretty good overall. There's some creasing along it, but everything is solid. The staples seem in good shape. Nothing seems to be hanging loose. All the pages are here. And there's the staples. Center staples look good. And there's Frank Zappa. So again, I think this is probably about a 6.5 maybe. All right, so now we're moving on to Captain America 100, which is Cap's first titled magazine, which was originally called Tales of Suspense prior to 100. So issue 100, they changed the title over to Captain America. So this one looks good shape. It's got a couple creases on the top right corner along the edges. You got some blunting here in the top left corner and some creases along the edge, but colors look really good. There's some tanning along the edge, some soil. Hopefully that comes out a little bit better. A little blunted bottom right corner and bottom left corner. But again, this is in really good shape overall. This book came out, I think, in 1963. No, I'm not sure. Let's see. 1968 was when this issue came out. You see the inside edges. Again, got the tanning along the edges there. Back cover looks really good, except for some tanning along the edges and a little bit of a tear, and a little bit of a tear up here on the top. But this is a beautiful, beautiful book. Pages are, I'm assuming, probably in that off-white to cream area. And again, this is the first solo title book. Some Jack Kirby goodness on the cover. It features a lot of main characters and then one person I've never seen before. Here's the centerfold, and I'll switch back to that front cover. Again, you have Frank Zappa. Staples look pretty good. One's kind of a little bit bent staple there, but I don't think that's been manipulated or changed or anything like that. Looks pretty good though. Again, a little bit of soiling up in here, but so yeah, on the front cover we have the Wasp. You've got Namor the Submariner. You've got Thor. You have Giant Man, Iron Man, Black Panther, Cap, and some lady in green. So from what I can gather, her name is Madame Mask. She's some sort of SHIELD operative, but I don't know if she becomes bigger later, but I've never heard of her, so don't know who she is. I would think this book is probably around, again, a 6.5 would be my guess. Hopefully cleans up and gets in that range, so fingers crossed. So this is Incredible Hulk 102. This is actually the second time Incredible Hulk had a title. He's had his own title and it went about 6 issues, and then it was canceled, and then he was picked up again in Tales to Astonish, starting at issue 60, and then at 102 was the first time it changed the title back to Incredible Hulk. So this is again, it's a really nice book. The colors look really good on it. It's got a couple defects. Top edge is a little bit rough. Some mold or something going on there that hopefully gets cleaned up. Top corner is a little blunted, but given that this book was in 1967, it looks really good. So let's check out the back cover. Back cover again is Norman Rockwell. Looks really, he's in his lovely Norman Rockwell pose. Some tanning, some along the edge, a little bit. I don't know if that's water damage, exactly what that is, but it looks pretty good. It's in the corner here. Actually, it shows up more on camera than it actually does on the natural eye. But it's a good thing about sometimes looking at things through the camera. You can kind of pick up stuff if you change the angle that you're looking at things, the way the light shines. You kind of pick up defects you might have missed on a cursory glance. So everything is intact. Let's take a look at the centerfold. Centerfold's all there. There's Frank. Everybody say hi, Frank. And staples look pretty good. Overall, pretty good. Not really sure how this mold's going to be affected. The grade. I'm going to put this at a probably, because of some of these defects, I think will come out better with the pressing. These creases over here. I'm going to put this probably about a 5, and then we'll see how it goes. Like I said, it presents really well. It's a little bit like a dent here by his eye. And again, that's what defects I think should come out due to pressing. See how that comes out. So we'll say 5, and again, wish for the best. All right, and last but not least, we have our sole modern book, which is Hulk 340, which is again the second battle between Hulk and Wolverine. They battled initially in Hulk 181, and that was the first appearance of Wolverine. I don't really want to argue about 180 versus 181, but everybody pretty much recognizes that 181 is the first appearance of Wolverine. Then this one, again, you see a lot of little imperfections around here, but I think most of those are pressable to get those little dimples out. But then if you go along the edge, there's a good number of ticks going along the side. So those ticks are kind of color breaking, and they're not going to come out. But again, this is a iconic cover. Todd McFarlane, very well known. It's been frequently homaged, and it's a pretty big deal. It's a beautiful book, and I think it's any collector should be happy to have it. I would guess. Let's take a look at the back. Back again is pretty sharp. The bottom corner, there's a little tear. Corner's decent. Again, those ticks are ever present. Probably put this as like 7.5, maybe an 8 after pressing, and we'll see where it goes from there. But again, it's a nice book if you're a Wolverine or a Hulk fan. It's kind of a must have. So, all right, moving on. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Hopefully everybody learned a little bit, and please make some comments. Let me know how my grades come in and what you think your grades may be. We can play along and see how this how everybody makes the call. We'll follow us up in a couple months, see how the grades came in, and see how accurate we are. Again, this has been a learning exercise, so I'm trying to just do better, make sure that I have a good job at just assessing grades, so I'm not sending books out that don't need to be graded, and just have a reasonable expectation. Obviously, I want the grades to be what I grade them, or ideally better, but I don't want to be disappointed if I thought something came back that should be for example, an 8.0 comes back at a 6.0. It's just setting yourself up for disappointment. I think you're always going to be a little bit surprised. Maybe there's something you didn't see, maybe an interior page that was torn really badly, and I don't really know exactly what they're grading, so I'm trying to learn. But if you enjoyed the video, please like it, and if you want to subscribe, please subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified when I periodically do videos. I don't expect to be a regular video content creator right now, but if I do make something, you do want to let you know. I won't be bothering you too much. So hopefully everybody took a little something from this. I appreciate your time and have a good day. TTFN.